When we start learning physics, the first major challenge is to understand differentiation. And we are given a long list of formulas and we generally don't clearly understand it, right? So let's start with something easy and crack it out. Imagine a vehicle moving in positive x direction. And let's say we have a point A, which we define as x is equal to 0. Since we are starting to observe the vehicle from this point, we can say that t is equal to 0 here, right? Now if someone is asking how fast the vehicle is moving, well, for that we need some information. We have that there are two other points B and C, which are at x is equal to 8 meters and x is equal to 12 meters. And the vehicle was at these 2 points at t is equal to 4 seconds and t is equal to 6 seconds. I think we have enough information now to calculate how fast the vehicle is moving. We have a very basic formula. Speed is equal to distance upon time. And if we place the values, we get an expression something like this. Finally, we get the result as 2 meters per second. Not a big task, very easy. But this quantity, what we are calling as a speed, and we just calculated 2 meters per second, that is telling us that how fast the position of the vehicle is changing with time, right? Or in other words, it is the rate of change in position with respect to time. Okay, let's have another situation. Now we have a graph, which is a straight line graph, and it is basically telling us how a quantity y is changing with respect to x, right? Let's assume 2 points, x1, y1 and x2, y2 on this graph. First, let's do some construction here and name the points as A, B and C. Now, if someone is asking you, what is the rate of change of y with respect to x? Very simple to write. Change in y by change in x. Or symbolically we can write it as del y by del x. Del is actually the symbol we use to represent the difference. It's nothing big. We call this quantity as slope in mathematics. When we are dealing with graphs, we call this rate of change of something on y-axis with respect to something on x-axis as slope. Now if we define angle ACB as theta, can we write tan theta is equal to AB by BC? We have very basic formula, tan theta is equal to perpendicular by base, and from that in this triangle ABC we have tan theta is equal to AB by BC. Now what is AB? AB is actually y2 minus y1. Look closely. And BC is x2 minus x1. So can we say that del y by del x is equal to tan theta, right? Now there is something tricky. We have a curve instead of a straight line. Let's mark 2 points on it and join them. Can we calculate the slope of the curve using these 2 points and the formula on the screen? No. Because if we do so, we will end up calculating the slope of this white line, not the curve, right? Now let's bring these points closer. Now can we calculate the slope of this curve using these 2 points and the same formula? Not yet. Because the graph is significantly different from this line also, right? So let's bring them even more closer. Now if you observe, the line joining the points is almost overlapping the curve. It looks like the curve is almost linear between these 2 points, right? I'll give you an example here. Earth is spherical in shape, but it is not noticeable to us. It looks flat to us. Why? Because the distance we walk is very, very less as compared to circumference of the earth, right? In a similar way, in this graph also, if we decrease the distance between 2 points very, very, very less, then the graph will look very similar to a straight line, right? One more observation. Let's say we have 2 points which are 10 km apart. Can you mark these 2 points separately on Earth if we scale it down to this picture? Even if you try to do so, they will merge into one point because they are very close as compared to size of the Earth. 10 km is very small as compared to size of the Earth, right? Now look at the graph. If we bring these 2 points in a similar way, very close, they will merge into a point, right? And now is the time. Now if we write the slope of the curve, then that will be the exact slope of the curve at that point. So let's do that. Slope of the curve is equal to del y by del x. And in this case, the change in y or change in x is very small. So we write del y as dy and del x as dx. So what is coming out? Slope of the curve is dy by dx here. Now if we draw a tangent here at the point, and let's say it is making an angle theta with x-axis, then we can say that slope of the curve is also equal to tan theta. So the final conclusion is slope of the curve is dy by dx, which is equal to tan theta. Or in other words, the rate of change of y with respect to x at the given point is dy by dx, right? Now that we have learned the basics, we can start with the first term of our list or table, which we started with, x to the power n. We have to find dy by dx of x to the power n. So let's say we have a value on x-axis, say x is equal to a. And for that, if y coordinate is y1, we can write from this expression as y1 is equal to a to the power n. Very simple. Now if we increase the value of x by a very small quantity, say h, we can write the corresponding y coordinate y2 as a plus h to the power n, right? Now if we write dy by dx here, what is that? That is basically the change in y by change in x, right? And what is the change in y? Fa plus h minus fa. What is the change in x? A plus h minus a, right? Now if we bring down the values of fa plus h and fa, we have an expression like this. Now there is a tricky part here. There is a difficult part. We have to expand a plus h to the power n. And if you don't know binomial theorem, you cannot expand it. So I have made a video on binomial theorem also. There is a link in the description. You can watch it. And if you know binomial theorem, then let's expand it. Here is the expansion of a plus h to the power n minus an by h. It might look big, but it's simple if you know binomial theorem, right? If we simplify it, we are getting an expression like this, but there is an observation here. Other than the first term, h is in every term, right? And h is a very small quantity. You know that. If we multiply a very small quantity to something, the product is very small, right? For example, if you multiply 100 to 0.001, it will reduce to 0.1. In a similar way, if we multiply h with something, the whole product will be very small. So in the first term, there is no h. That is a significant quantity. In other terms, there is h square, h cube. So if we power on a very small quantity, that will become even more smaller. Which means the second term is smaller, the third term is even more smaller, the fourth term is even more smaller than that, right? So basically we can ignore every term other than the first term. And what do we get? We get n a to the power n minus 1. And this is dy by dx of x to the power n at any point x is equal to a. Simple. Let's have another example. We have y is equal to sine x. we have to find dy by dx of sine x. So as I have already done all the process in the previous example, I am not going through every step. I'll write directly dy by dx is equal to sine a plus h minus sine a by h. You very well know the expansion of sine a plus h. It is sine a cos h plus cos a sine h, right? And with that we get this expression. Here is a task for you. Take up your calculator and calculate the value of sine on 0.001, 0.002, 0.003, similar quantities, because they are very small quantities. So write sine 0.001 and see what you get. Alright. Similarly, calculate the value of cos on the same angles and see what you get. If you observe, for very small angles, sine h is almost equal to h and cos h is nearly equal to 1. Right? You have the table in front of you. If we implement this in our expression, what do we get? We get dy by dx of sine x as cos a at any value x is equal to a. Simple. It's nothing tough. And that's it. We have calculated dy by dx for x to the power n and sine x. You can try to calculate for other terms as well and see if you can do it. Now I'll make another video on differentiation. So stay tuned and goodbye for now. Now if you like the video, do share, like and subscribe Green Slides. For any queries, you can drop a mail at slidescreen@gmail.com.